Hello everyone, and welcome back to the BoneheadCollective, and welcome to episode 6 of Fable-top. As always, I am joined by Diddy. And today, we will be talking about character backstories and how to integrate them into stories. I suppose, first off, what, in your opinion, makes a good character backstory?
First of all, your parents aren't dead.
Yeah, no, I'm a true believer in that one.
I think something unique. Like, you're not this, oh, I'm edgy because my parents are dead, I grew up in an orphanage kind of thing. Like, everyone does that. Every first player does, oh, I'm a rogue, I'm so edgy, my parents are dead, I grew up in an orphanage, I was a street urchin, I did pickpocketing until I was, 13, and then I got recruited into some thieves guild and some shit like that.
It's funny you mention rogues, because obviously I myself play a rogue, but I specifically outlined the fact that both my parents are alive and healthy.
Yeah.
They're living quite happily on a farm.
So unique.
Oh yeah. I became a rogue because it was fun, not because I was forced into it, not because I was down on my luck. It was just, I just had a knack for it and I got into it. I wouldn't really say Diego's edgy. Like he's had a moment or two where he's like rode the razor's edge of edge, right? But I'd say for the most part, he's just like a typical goofball kind of character.
Yeah. I suppose. Well, there's that one time I made you cry. IRL.
Yeah. Because that had something to do with you slaughtering my best friend in front of me. But,
best friend that you hadn't seen for years and had dropped off of a jetpack just so you could get away.
We had this conversation. Raphael and Diego had this conversation. If it was the other way around, he would have done the same. Yeah. So, no Rugrats.
No Rugrats.
But yeah, no, I'm much in the same boat as you. I do believe that, like I'm not saying there's anything wrong with wanting to be like the Batman of D&D and both my parents are dead and I'm seeking vengeance and justice, but It's like meeting everyone in a tavern in session 1. It's so overdone at this point.
Yeah.
But because thinking about it, I don't think I've played with anyone in my Thursday or Friday games, at least, where their parents are alive.
Right.
Mark explained it to me in the last session. Oh, he's a mountain dwarf, by the way. I did ask him. Okay. He was... we can go into his backstory a little bit, I suppose. Basically, he's like mountain home or something was raided and everyone was killed and he was like ejected into the wild to survive. Zenfire is an orphan with his parents, at the very least, in unknown whereabouts.
Yeah.
I don't think Enril ever talked about his parents.
It was something like his village was raided and his mother took him, ran with him into the woods and put him down somewhere and then she got killed and some druid cult picked him up and raised him.
Yeah, because I do remember hearing that, and then I just outright said, I was like, oh, that's what happens to Link in Ocarina of Time. His mum just took him into the forest and died. But yeah, it's the same in the Friday game, except that's, if you want an edgy character, that's where I play my edgy character. Yeah, because my character, and that's actually slowly becoming the Grim Reaper, so pretty cool.
Yeah, because Zenfire's backstory kind of changed halfway through Lost Mines of Phandelver. Because basically he was just supposed to be, parents are dead, he's had to resort to bounty hunting, there we go, he's a blood hunter now. But then Zenfire and I had a talk, and I made it so that the Black Spider, the big bad evil guy of Lost Mine of Phandelver, was actually his adopted father.
Yeah.
And Zenfire had kind of been working with him, and that's how, spoilers, that the Black Spider is able to get to oh my god, what's the mine called?
Wave Echo Cave.
Wave Echo Cave. That's how the Black Spider is able to get to Wave Echo Cave at the end of the campaign.
Yeah, it was like, no lie, kind of genius how you set that up. I'm going to go in the kitchen and cook. Oh, don't. That's why Mark wants to record, like, someone to record whenever you're going to pull a twist out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I think what was really impressive was just how nonchalant it was, like how no one suspected anything. Like, oh, I'm just gonna go in the back and cook everyone's breakfast, and he's like on a fucking radio. He's like, all right, Dad, now we're going over to like Thunder Tree.
No, it wasn't a radio. Like the Black Spider was actually coming to the window.
Oh, see, I thought it was like a message spell or a sending stone or something.
No, he was actually in Phandalin. Like he was just hanging around Phandalin this whole time because he was speaking with Zenfire.
Jesus Christ. I still don't know the Black Spider's name. That's the funny thing. I know, like, the module gives him...
I think it's like Nesnar or something.
Nesnar?
Yeah, it's not very good.
Yeah, Black Spider's a little bit better.
Yeah, my name is Earth Shatterer. What's your real name? John Smith.
John Smith. Oh, man. I mean... I think one thing I do like about backstories is, like, if they are done correctly, like, they can make your character, like, 100 times more interesting.
Definitely.
Like, or, like, even in the example of Zenfire, his backstory's not super complex and it's not super far off the traditional, both my parents are dead.
Mm.
But the fact that the twist that came with it, like you managed to like integrate into the Phandelver storyline, was genuinely a stroke of genius. Like
it was mainly him because he wanted to change it, like to like integrate it into the story a bit more. But then obviously I couldn't. He was throwing all of these ideas at me, and I was just like, right, can you stop? Because I need to. I've already come up with something that's fucking brilliant and is going to blow everyone's minds, but I also cannot tell you because I need you to be in the dark as well. So stop throwing ideas at me because I can't tell you what I'm doing.
I think when the twist came out that, like, you know, Black Spider was Zenfire's stepdad, it was like, I think it's the first time as a group we all just went silent.
You got up and walked away, as I recall.
Yeah, because I was sat there and it was just like, this motherfucker, like, this is like, in the group, this is meant to be like Artemis's best mate, like, and now it turns out like your BFF is actually like
the BBEG's son.
Yeah, and you just can't. It's, I don't know. Like, even, like looking back on it now, it still leaves me speechless, and it's still like I think I'm gonna have to have words with him on Thursday. I think Diego's gonna have to sit down to Zenfire and be like, "Dude, what the fuck? It's only just like sunk in." Like months later.
And then there's the whole Shia LaBeouf incident.
Oh, that.
Which came just after Zenfire's reveal.
Yeah, and joined in the boss fight.
Yeah.
That was something, like, I know we joked about, but...
Yeah, for those of you who are running through Lost Mine of Phandelver at the moment, you will come across spoilers, you'll come across a goblin, I think, in the Trisendar Manor dungeons called Droop. I replaced this goblin called Droop with a human called Honor Wellington.
Where did you get the name Honor Wellington from, though?
Honor is a... not simile. The thesaurusized version of praise.
Okay.
And which is Shire
Beef Wellington
and Beef Wellington. So I came up with the name Honor Wellington. So from Praise the Beef,
it was there.
It was right there.
Oh my god!
I was gonna make it Honor Bourguignon, but I thought Bourguignon was a bit like, oh, where have I heard Bourguignon before? Beef Bourguignon, Shia LaBeouf. I thought it would have been a bit too easy.
I can also 100% guarantee you, if you did that, Zenfire would have called you like the most middle-class white guy ever.
Yeah. So you come across a goblin called Droop. I replaced him with Honor Wellington. Turns out Honor Wellington was Shia LaBeouf that had been polymorphed into someone else by the Black Spider. Because Shia LaBeouf is also the Black Spider's son, but Zenfire had no idea that Shia LaBeouf was the Black Spider's son as well. I made it up. Like, there are massive amounts of plot holes. Please don't read anything into it, but it was so funny to see everyone's reaction to Shia LaBeouf turning up.
Yeah, because I mean, it was hilarious as well. Like I said, like, it's something we joked about, but like if anyone's wondering why it was Shia LaBeouf specifically, in one of the very first sessions we had, like the first few sessions, we joked about how funny it would be if Shia LaBeouf, like actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf, was like a character. And obviously from there, the god of beef then evolved into an actual fight.
Yeah, literally that same day, I went onto Google. I was like, Shia LaBeouf 5e stat block search. I was like, yep, that'll do. Drag that into the downloads. Okay, this is going in the story somehow.
Oh, it was great. I know we've had talks about like involving like Adam Sandler characters like Zohan and all that as well. But
I can't stand Adam Sandler.
No, I don't like him. Oh man, but yeah, like how that was handled is kind of like a good example of like integrating a character's backstory into a story, and it feeling genuinely natural. Like, none of us would have guessed that was coming. Like, you dropped like what is now a very obvious hint in front of us, and we still missed it. And I suppose it's nothing but praise, really. Like, in my game at the moment, the one I run on a Wednesday, I haven't had really any opportunity, given your given where you were inside the tower. So I haven't had much opportunity for backstory integration.
Yeah.
But now we're in the world at large, I'm hoping to start getting some like more, because I know Zenfire, he wants a little bit more going on. Your story, like Horatio's story, really could lend itself to some encounters. I won't go into it here because this isn't the time or the place, but I have got like outlines in my head, but it's one of those things, at some point I'm going to need to sit down with like each of you, work out some details, work out, you know, where they would fit in the world. But then, yeah, like very much also leave you in the dark at the same time, because I do want some things to be surprises. But
yeah, I was going to say, don't go into my backstory for Horatio, because it's kind of a secret and the other players aren't supposed to know.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I haven't specifically outlined anything. But it's much the same for Turnip in this game, like Zenfire's character Turnip. He's got stuff in there he doesn't want you knowing. Tannen, or Gareth's character. That's one thing I like about Gareth. He just kind of rolls with it.
Yeah.
Like, I know I did ask him for some backstory, and he did send me like a decent sized paragraph for it, but I think
I sent you a few lines, didn't I?
Yeah, I mean, I probably sent you for Diego.
You sent me a few paragraphs.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I couldn't be asked to read it, so I went onto my computer and went on a text-to-speech thing and just dragged it in and just listened to it instead.
Oh, that's great. Like, I don't know why. Like, Artemis is... Well, Diego, sorry. Like, is probably my favourite character I play at the moment, because he was the first character I've gone all out with. Like, I feel like I've established a personality for him, and like I can get in his mindset quite easily.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason I wanted to go into the backstory as much as I did, like with what I sent you, was I don't know. Like, I don't even think I've got a good reason. I think I just started writing absolute crap, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good, and like it just worked out. Obviously, I'm not going to say too much because there's still stuff that I don't want to spoil.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot of stuff I don't know. So, but I suppose if I was to give like some advice to like new DMs or DMs who do struggle with like backstory integration, it would be like talk to your players. Sit down with them, talk about like characters, motivations, end goals. Because not every character is going to want to have like a huge reveal like Zenfire or Diego. Not everyone's going to hold secrets. It might even just be like there was an NPC from their past and you just, I don't know, they just bump into each other at the market one day and just... I think that's the only kind of advice I'd give, is just basically listen to the players, but...
Yeah. So, what is a backstory that you have come up with that you are like proud of? That you think, oh, this is a brilliant backstory kind of thing?
Well, I've only really written 3 characters at the moment. My monthly character, his entire backstory is literally at the behest of the DM on that game. My Friday game, Killian, he is kind of half and half. Like, I know I've deliberately left my backstory vague, and then the rest of it's at the DM. I'd have to say Diego is probably like... Because, like we said earlier, I kind of wanted to break convention with him. I didn't want him to have dead parents. I didn't want him to have a troubled childhood. Like, he had a good childhood, his parents loved him, and he turned a hobby into a job that made him a bit of money. There's one character I have written a backstory for in my game that I cannot go into.
Okay.
Which I think is quite cool. But I can't touch that because that's spoilers for you.
Ah, fair enough.
But I don't know. I think what I liked about Diego's story was how you've kind of taken like vague concepts I've had and then you've worked them into the story. Like, so like, I suppose a little bit of like a quick recap of Diego's story. He was like this, not famous, but he was like a renowned thief. Like he was basically like the cat version of Robin Hood. He would steal from the rich, give to the poor. He would never steal for self-gain, and he would only steal, like, he'd only take jobs from like the poor people if like it was like, oh, this guy stole my brother's statue, could you go and get it back, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then one day he was working on a job, and he was robbing, if I'm remembering what I've written right, he was sent to steal a crystal from like some kind of mafioso family, but he was ambushed, which led him to believe that one of the few people he did call a friend had set him up. He snatched the crystal anyway, and it kind of like gave him like a weird shock that he thought was just like static, but he managed to get out of there. But then the person who sent him on that job, who was actually Auspicia Dran, now believes that he's stolen the crystal, or at the very least stolen something from her, and now she's got all of his old friends to hunt him down. Or at the very least she's got some of his mates on her payroll, but yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't Auspicia Drag?
Oh my god. I thought it was Omen Drag.
Omen Drag. Yes. Sorry, Omen Drag.
To be fair, it could go either way, they're twins. Like, all she's got to do is...
For context, the last episode, or the last session we did, they were encountering Auspicia Dran, but it turns out it wasn't Auspicia Dran. It was Omin Dran in heavy makeup and a wig.
And Zenfire came in with, admittedly, a fucking great joke of calling him Omin Drag. And, like, usually puns like that, you roll your eyes at. But that even I have to admit, that
creasing.
Oh mate, it was so fun. And then yeah, we just referred to him as Omen Drag for like the rest of that, and then we essentially started like a nuclear holocaust.
Yeah, they got given a button that was explained would blow up all of the Dran Enterprises strongholds on the continent, and they were like, "Fuck yeah, let's do this!" Smack. They get
with express permission from Omin Dran.
With permission from Omin Dran. They get back to Waterdeep, where the Acquisitions Incorporated headquarters are, and the Acquisitions Incorporated headquarters has also been blown up.
See, I've got questions that Diego would know because he witnessed one of the explosions. But I can't ask them out of game because I don't want to do it meta. But yeah, no, that whole situation, that went foobar quick. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, natural transition, natural cut. So yeah, like that's all interesting and stuff. Talking about like my favorite, but what's your favorite backstory you've written?
Well, thank you for that non-set-up segue. I'd say it's got to be Arden Brightwood. See, I've got two characters. That's four. I've got two characters that I play on a regular basis. It's Arden Brightwood, which is a half-orc fighter folk hero, and Horatio Arlington Horntooth III, which is a human fighter noble. I like fighter noble combinations. I just think they're good. So Horatio is very simple. He likes wine, women, and song. His father got fed up of funding that lifestyle, so kicked him out, and he's got to go make his own money so he can get wine, women, and song. That's it. That's his whole backstory. Arden is a bit more complicated. So this half-orc baby gets found on the outskirts of a human village, gets brought in and raised by the blacksmith and his wife.
Okay.
By the age of 12, because he's a half-orc, he's already 6 foot, and playing with all the other children, he doesn't really know his own strength and can get a bit rough sometimes. So people are maybe slightly scared of him in the village. One day a tax collector, I think it is, comes and is like, we need the tax, and everyone's like, well, we don't have the money. So the tax collector starts beating people. This 12-year-old half-orc steps in and knocks this tax collector off his horse. So Arden gets arrested and taken to the local lord, and the lord's like, this guy's 12 years old. This 6 foot green skin beast, man beast, is
my beast.
This 6 foot man beast is 12 years old. They're like, yeah. It's like, well, right, I'm having him as a squire then. So the lord brings him in and starts training him within the lord's fort, and unfortunately the lord dies maybe 3 or 4 years later, and everyone else is very jealous because obviously this 12-year-old was just brought in. The lord took a shine to him. Everyone else was kind of cast out and shunned, so they grew to resent Arden, and when the lord died, they just kind of chucked him out of the castle, didn't give him anything that was owed to him.
I thought you was going to say like he inherited the estate or something.
Nope. Well, I can't do that if I'm a level one fighter folk hero. Oh yeah, I also own this massive fort and I'm the lord of this place.
You know what he needs to do if he hasn't already?
What?
He needs to go back to that estate and toss them not the way, you son of a bitch.
Man boost.
So, alright, here's a question for you. Discounting myself because, I don't want to make you feel like you have to answer it with mine. Out of the players we've had and have, including Landmorn and Malak, whose backstory is your favourite? Or at least is the more interesting to you so far?
Zenfire. It's gotta be, because he's the son of this BBEG that almost destroyed the world.
No, that's fair dinkum. I mean, I asked the question, but I've never put too much thought into it. I don't know. I'd probably say Mark's character Varud, just because he was a mountain dwarf living underground, but then was like ejected into the wilderness, where he basically became as savage to survive.
Yeah,
I think that one's quite cool. I'd probably say the weakest one, just because he's not in the group anymore, was probably Landmorn's.
Well, that was kind of the whole point. He had no experience. He had literally just come out of like a wizard's college, and was just like, "Yeah, I'm a wizard now. What am I going to do? Let's go adventuring."
I mean, it does leave like a huge open slate and like probably like the biggest possibility for anything to happen. But I feel like that kind of backstory is like probably like one of the weaker ones to lean back on. I mean, I know I'm one to talk, considering I have literally left one of my characters' backstories purely to the DM. But I see that as different from, I'm fresh-faced and out of college, I remember everything about my life, let's go on an adventure, against, I don't remember fuck all about my past, I was raised by Dragonborn and Fire Ganassi, and I'm now just finding out that I might be like the fucking lost prince of this fucking town or some shit. Like, one has kind of nothing to go on and is just kind of expecting stuff to happen at them, and one is actively searching something out. So, but I mean, we also can't forget that someone like the Garlic Bread Wizard or the Garlic Bread Cleric would also probably have an amazing backstory where he was raised by a village of garlic bulbs and
garlic bread. Just walking, talking slices of garlic bread.
I think that's it for us today. Guys, before we go, we have some big news to announce. Fabletop is moving off of the Bonehead Collective and it's getting its own channel. It's mainly because we want to give Fabletop its own room to breathe and grow. And I appreciate that people who have subscribed to this channel aren't necessarily here for the D&D content. So Fabletop will be getting its own gaff to hang about in. And that will go up live with episodes 7 and 8, and all previous episodes will be up there in correct chronological order, instead of like the one really skiffy bit with 3 and 4. But yeah, if that's of interest to you, check it out when it's live. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to this channel and to Fabletop when that one comes out. As always, I've been Bonehead.
And I've been Diddy.
And we will see you in the next episode. Tatty bye.
Bye-bye.